Shalom, Hebrews. Today I want to talk about the 42 stations or stops in the wilderness. Maybe I'll call this Knights of the Brazen Serpent explained. We'll think of something. But anyway, we've got the another Masonic manual here. They've got the four cherubs, right? Lion, ox, man, eagle. Now, within the Lawrence Gardner, Genesis of the Grail Kings, he'll explain that these seraphs, or Brazen Serpent, Knights of the Brazen Serpent, you could say, is these auxiliary cherubs, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, clearly we're talking about this plague is, you could say, Luciferian bloodlines, okay, guys? Simple as that. So I've got a, 1611 King James colored map. But I like this. Oh, that's interesting. They've got the 42 stops or stations in the wilderness, right? Now, that's obviously going to be symbolic of the 42 months in Revelation, right? And you can see them here numbered. And then they've got the Brazen Serpent, or the Seraphim plague, okay? So if you look up the word, as I alluded to last time, you look up the fiery serpent word, it's translated as seraphims, okay? Now, and you'll see that in Isaiah too. Remember when Isaiah had that vision. Now, there's this idea that in according to Lawrence Gardner, of course, he's pretty straight from the horse's mouth, he's got this line of these royal reptilians coming from Cain, okay? So that was, obviously, I don't need to explain that anymore, the reptilian bloodline, or the royal bloodline that has dominion on this earth, or the Egyptian pharaohs, you can go on and on about it, right? But there's this idea of, right here, you can see the seraphim would be the external bloodline, or they're external to these cherubs, or on the, maybe I could say the exterior, right? So it's a plague that you have to go through. And in Ezekiel's vision, he's explaining it here. And then he'll explain it furthermore where this seraph is, flaming seraphs appear, regular ancient documents. And it's a word, etymology of the word seraph, which is related to flame. And then obviously the other one would be serpent. But they're around the throne, okay? Fiery. Okay, here we go. What is certain, however, is that these flying chariots, cherubims, okay, accompanying seraphs, or fiery dragons, or the auxiliaries. Yeah, okay, page 63, 64. Auxiliaries were never at any time described as having human form. Okay, it goes on. Okay, so you've got this idea of these cherubs guarding the way of the tree of life, however, with the accompanying seraphs, or the reptilian bloodlines. Okay, so what is the the book of Revelation in a nutshell? It's the same thing as is the wilderness wanderings of Israel. The 42 stops are the 42 degrees that make a rainbow. 42 degrees off a raindrop reflection makes a rainbow. Or, again, the 42 months, 42 stops, etc. So, along the way, you've got these fiery seraphs, okay? Of course, in Revelation, you see the water coming out of the dragon's mouth. And here we go. So you had the lambskins, okay? So we've got these reptilian bloodlines. They dress up right here. Oops, not that one. Where did it go? Okay, see that? So a lamb with the two horns, and of course that is the lambskin plague. Okay, or these reptilian bloodlines that dress up in lambskins once a year and go on parades. So, now it's interesting, I wanted to show you guys this, is not only do you have the two horns of the lamb, jacking and bows, but notice you got the 5 pillars of masonry. It's the same as the 5 pillars of Islam as well. Now, what does that mean? Well, you've got 7 pillars total, Remember how we've always talked about, though, it's the fifth beast, or the fifth trumpet, fifth seal, fifth plague, fifth church. So these first five, you could say, the first five trumpets, first five plagues, first five seals, churches, etc., right? However, then you get to the last two, and that is the Masonic beast coming out of the abyss, okay? So once the fifth ends, that's when you've got you could say Islam or the Masonic fraternities coming up out of the earth, okay, guys? It's simple as that, okay? So you've got this lambskin beast that comes up, this fiery seraphim plague, okay? So then they've even got a degree called Knight of the Brazen Serpent. And look at this lambskin. This lambskin happens to have a beetle or that's a scarab, of course, and according to the Rosicrucians. Let's see what these... Okay, here we go. It's the same thing as the Napoleon bee, okay? Obviously, it's going to Lux because these scarabs were like fire-breathing, or they had some fire component, can't remember off the top of my head, to the scarab, right? Which is why the Egyptians... The lucifrays, they call it. Lucifrays, that's right. And anyway, so you've got this idea of the Masonic bee, or of Napoleon, of course, and Clovis I, Charlemagne, right? Now, and then, of course, on the Knights of the Brazen Serpent, they've got the lambskin apron with a scarab on it. Okay, guys? So now, we have this idea of these, in going through the wilderness, the children of Israel, we have to encounter the fiery serpent plague, okay? So it's symbolic of the reptilian Luciferian bloodlines. So just like in the Bible, what happened? They ended up making an idol of this. So that's why all your stars in Hollywood, all your idols are all reptilians, okay, guys? Same thing with the royals, obviously. People idolize those. So they make an idol out of these seraphs, okay? These reptilian bloodlines. It's as simple as that, guys. That's what's really going on here. And to the modern, you're not going to see literal fiery dragons coming out of the sky. I mean, maybe you will, but that's not the point. The point is you have the fire-breathing lambskin plague that happens on their way to the promised land, guys, in the middle of actually toward the end of the 42 months, toward the end of these. So you're getting to the two pillars of the two horns. See how that works, guys? Of course, Knight of the Brazen Serpent looks like it's the 20th. No, what is it? The somewhere around here, right here. It might be higher up. There it is. Knight of the Brazen Serpent, 25. And then they got interesting. Also, they got Knight of Kadesh, 30. But that's also another stop in the wilderness on the map. You can see Kadesh right there. See that? Anyway, so now. And then this is very, obviously they got they got a Dagon fish cult here. Interesting. The belly of the whale. So yeah, so this whole idea is, they're dropping little hints on this, because obviously Francis Bacon, with this whole, the King James 11 panel, or he was on that. So naturally the maps are going to have some plenty of Masonic artifacts on it, which you can see right here, right? So anyway. So I hope that's starting to clear that up. So now I wanted to take a quick little segue here and talk about and this is the same Knight of the Brazen Serpent. They go and they end it with the Egyptian, or the Hebrew Tau, or Tav, but it's a Tau. And that is the last letter of the Old Hebrew. It's an X. Okay, guys? Now, the first being Aleph, which is the ox, which ironically symbolizes 1,000, the numerological value of 1,000. So, and again, this is of course a strange fire, going back to the fiery seraphs. Okay, guys, a strange fire that comes from these auxiliary seraphs. Okay, around the cherubim. Okay, guys. But anyway, this Tau is an X. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, it's also the same word. Now, we've talked about it earlier, where the mark of Cain is obviously a cross or an X, but it can also be the inverse. The mark of Abel would be the inverse of the mark of Cain, meaning it all depends on which way you go through the 4 cherubs. Okay, I've talked about that plenty. It's lion, ox, man, eagle. Lion, ox, man, eagle. But if you look at the way the zodiacs turn, they go the opposite. So they go through the opposite way, the way of the seasons, which is ox, lion, eagle, man. Okay, and they become a seraph, a fiery seraph, and they breathe dragon fire, guys. That's what's going on. Okay, or a Tubal Cain, Vulcanist, however you want to say, it's all the same, right? So now, and then at the end of this, now this is also a Tau. See, that's why they got the snake, tribe of Dan, on the cross, right? So, and then at the end of this degree, you become a fire-breathing serpent. And then they talk about the, let's see, they talk about the Tau. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, I hope I didn't go by it. I don't think I did. It should be on this page right here. There it is. Okay, you see that, guys? So, that's the Tau of the patriarchs. The cross, see that? The Tau of the patriarchs. Okay, again, that is the letter, and I think Hebrew, and that is the word in Ezekiel 9. You look up the word for sign on the forehead, or a mark on the forehead. It's a Tau. Okay? You'll see that very word Tau is the cross or the mark on the forehead. In that case, that was more or less the seal, because they weren't being slain. But as I said earlier, it's the inverse. Can be the mark of Cain and mark of Abel could both be said to be a cross. Okay, guys? Connect the dots on that one. Thanks for watching.